This is the second generation Sondors Fat Bike, the one that was launched on Kickstarter in late 2015. I just got it in late January of 2016, delivered right around when they said it would be delivered. So it's pretty amazing. I think February was when the first Indiegogo campaign was going on of 2015, and in just the span of about a year, they've managed to launch a second version that's better in a lot of ways, and now they've got the new thin model that's up on Indiegogo. So gotta hand it to these guys for delivering on their promises and creating something that's generated a lot of awareness for e-bikes in general. Of course, I've had some criticisms in the past about some of the marketing and stuff, and it's like, oh, $499. It's like, well, $199 shipping, and how much does it weigh and all that stuff. But putting a lot of that aside, I just want to look at the bike and give you some idea of how this one's different and how it performs. So the first big difference is that it has an aluminum alloy frame versus steel. The weight was, I thought, maybe going to be a little bit different, a little bit lighter. I think it's about the same. It's about 60 pounds. This one's about 62.5 pounds because I did the upgraded suspension fork here. The battery was also an area that you could upgrade, and I went for it. Instead of getting the standard 8.8 amp hour pack, I upgraded to 12.8. It's got Panasonic cells, which is like kind of a brand name in the e-bike space. They're known for being long lasting and just higher quality, really energy dense. So 36 volt, 12.8 amp hours, that's above average. And the motor back here is this Bafang, which is 350 watt nominal, fat tire specific. See how it's kind of extra wide so that the spokes and everything line up with these fat bike rims here. So 350 watts, very nice. Black, the spokes are black, they match. The tires on this one are a little bit narrower. So whereas the first iteration of this bike on Indiegogo, they were like 4.9 inches in diameter, these ones are just 4 inches. So, again, a little bit narrower, maybe going to have less rolling resistance, but still give you kind of that comfortable, spongy feel when you're going over bumpy terrain. That increased surface area beyond like a normal mountain bike or something is going to still allow you to ride on sand or snow or something. So it's a good kind of like balance. These are still 26 inches in diameter, the wheel set here, but being 4-inch width on the tires, they end up being like 29 inch. Which is kind of cool. It elevates the whole bike. If you're a bigger guy, I think this is kind of, it feels like your size a bike. I was actually getting help from Sam at Myron's Extreme Machines, Electric Bicycle Center in Fullerton, California. I paid them like $80 to go ahead and assemble this. That's how much they charge, and that's kind of like standard when you go to a shop and have them put it together. They had all the right tools. I think they did a pretty good job, but that's an incremental cost. So the total on this bike, without the battery upgrade, without the suspension fork, would have been about $700 US. I ended up spending about $850 plus the additional $80. So let's call it $900, but still for under $1,000, not bad. It's got, again, sort of a little bit above average in terms of the motor and battery combo. And then you get some disc brakes here, 160 millimeter Tektro mechanical. You can see up here the levers. I don't know what to call these. There's a 5 and it's in a star, so I'm calling it 5-star. They do have motor inhibitors, and that's good because this does use a cadence sensor, and it's actually much more noticeable than on the first Indiegogo bike. I completely missed it on that bike. I said, oh, it doesn't have pedal assist, and that was part of the whole range question. How far can it go? And yeah, if you use their very gentle pedal assist, it's got an 8 sensor disc down there, so 8 little magnets that pass the cadence sensor. Pretty nice, pretty responsive. I would call this like a level 2.5, maybe level 3 in terms of power output. Probably not going to hit the 20 mile per hour max speed just using pedal assist. You want to go up here and use the trigger throttle for that. So it's nice that it has both. I was not able to figure out how to disable pedal assist on this bike. Inside the battery box, there's a, kind of a little end point here. I tried unplugging this and it just disabled all of the power. Like basically it wouldn't, no pedal assist, no throttle mode. So I don't know, there's probably a way to tinker with this. I didn't want to mess with it too much that way. And frankly, the wires are pretty clean in here. They're run up through the top of the box here and to the front. It keeps everything hidden. You can imagine if this bike looked like this, it didn't have the plastic battery box, it would be, you know, just a lot less pleasing to the eye, and you probably get a little bit more dirt and water and stuff in there. So I like that they have the box. You can even hide a few things in here, just use it as a little bit of a cargo box. Got the keys right now, and I don't know if that's going to have an adverse effect on like the heating and stuff in here. I can't really say, but you know, I'm sure people toss a few things in there. The battery is locking, it is removable, but it's really snug. So, you know, if we go ahead and turn the key here, it's like you have to kind of pry it out here, and it's kind of scuffing the top of the battery right there. But you know, it does come out, and that's nice because you might have this bike parked in the garage and want to keep this where you can charge it, like in the office or inside your house. I do recommend storing it in a place that's like cool and dry. The extreme cold is going to significantly reduce sort of like the range that you get, and extreme heat can kind of, you know, hurt the cells. If you're not using the bike for, you know, 6+ months or maybe even a few months, you might want to leave the battery at like half charged. And there is a little LED sort of readout on this at the top when you press that button, so that does sort of turn it on and off. While we're in here, look, there's like an on-off switch directly on the battery. You can see that little circle over there. That's a rubber nipple. There's one on this side too. And the idea is that you should be able to work with this battery without removing it. So, you know, you can basically charge the battery. Let's get that seated again. There we go. So it's, you know, it takes a little bit of effort, but I did it with one hand, not too bad. You are able to charge the battery and turn it on and off using that little poke through point on either side of the plastic box. So, you know, that's pretty nice. It's really well thought out. I love that it's color matched, so it's all very nice. But on that point, I ordered like the blue Caribbean color with orange accents, and I ended up with gray and white accents. So, you know, at least I got the suspension fork, I got the battery. You know, I don't think I was notified if they didn't do that color. I don't know, maybe they did and they just messed up my order. It's a little bit of a bummer because, you know, I wanted something a little bright, more fun. But, you know, hey, I got the bike. I got it pretty much on time, too. So that's just something I wanted to mention. And, again, it could be, I don't know, if someone out there got the blue Caribbean color, then let me know, because then they just screwed up my order. But maybe they didn't get enough orders for that color. Pro wheel cranks, these, like, aluminum alloy platform pedals. They remind me of the Welgo pedals that I really like. They're pretty big. They got decent traction spikes. Got reflectors on there, which is nice. Reflectors at the back and at the front. Kind of everything you're supposed to have. And again, those motor inhibitors. So that's all safety stuff. Ergonomic grips here with lockers. And they aren't really compromised. You don't have a twist throttle here. You have a trigger, which I kind of like. Especially if you end up going off-road, because you might have to bear down on that grip and don't want to lose your grip and bounce around. The suspension fork doesn't seem to really have adjusters. It says easing right here, but I tried to twist those, and I don't think you should be adjusting things separately like that. I kind of think it's just a generic, you know, there's no rebound adjust, no stiffness, no lockout. It does improve ride quality a little bit, and it is fat bike specific. Even has kind of maybe a mounting point for a fender or a light right here. But it felt a little sticky. I mean, it's a low quality fork. It does weigh a little bit more too. It's probably, you know, what's adding those extra few pounds. At the back, we've got another point for maybe fenders or something if you found them. And then some threaded bosses on the seat stays. So you could potentially add a rear rack on this thing. I really like that. And then one of the other upgrades is, I think they have like a little LCD display panel that would show your speed, your range, and it'll let you adjust pedal assist instead of just having one default mode. I've been to this website called Lunicycle, and they have a section that's like Sondors accessories. So I don't know if they're working with Sondors or what their deal is. I think the guy who owns that might also own ElectricBike.com. It's a pretty good resource. I found some of my images on their site in the past and reached out like, hey, you want to give me a link or something? And I never heard back, so good luck to those guys. But, you know, it's also like, I don't know what goes on behind closed doors in this industry. I wish them the best, and to you too, as a potential Sondors owner. I do like that the rims have these punch outs here for, you know, reducing the weight, and that they've chosen liners that match sort of the accents on this bike. A quick release on the seat post right here. It's pretty short seat post. I think it's only like 20 250, 260 millimeters long. So see, it doesn't go quite as high. It's 26 or 28.6 millimeters in diameter. So if you're thinking about adding a thud buster to further increase the comfort, but there are no quick release options for the front or rear wheels. So you just have standard like nuts right there. You have to bring some tools. Given that the wheels are so big and this is such a heavy bike, it's nice that the battery's removable, and I'd probably take the front wheel off because I was trying to shove this in my car. Kickstand, it's decent, kind of stays out of the way. You know, it's not super duper sturdy, but it's the right height and everything, so good on that. The saddle, also kind of generic. Tried to figure out what brand it was, and I think it doesn't have a brand, but it does have these rubber bumpers going on. It gives you like some nice comfort that way too. And the max inflation on these tires, by the way, is about 20 psi. So if you're riding on sand or something like that, you could probably go 10 to 15 and give yourself a little bit more of that surface area. Gosh, I think that's kind of it. So there's the two-step activation process. Turn the battery on. First of all, make sure it's charged. Plug it into the rack thing. Turn it on. Then you can come up here, and there's this on-off kind of a rubberized button. And then you can see the one readout that you do get up here is green, yellow, red, and that's just a kind of a voltage meter. It gives you some general idea of how full the battery is. From there, you start pedaling. The thing takes off. You know, have fun with it. I'm gonna pedal assist only, and give you some idea of what it sounds like and how powerful it is. This is a single-speed electric bike, so you have like one gear. It's like no gears, I guess. 40 teeth at the front, and I think 16 at the rear. So it's I'll have that back at the site, but basically it seems like it's fewer teeth than before, so it's actually a little easier to get started. And given that this is a heavier bike, I think that's nice, and I think it feels a little bit better. You know, one of the things I prefer is having some gears, especially on a heavy bike like this, but given that they've gone with the single speed for keeping it like maintenance free and just tougher, I like that they reduced the number of teeth. I'm not sure if there's even a way to add your own derailleur or anything. I think you're kind of just, that's it, like one speed. That's how this bike is going to be kind of forever. But I love that they've got a kind of a chain guide on that front ring. Keeps your pants out of the way. It's plastic, so it's not going to protect it a whole lot from bumps, but you know, it's better than nothing. Got the quick disconnect for the motor. This is sort of the old school style where it enters, I think, kind of at the end of the axle. So if your bike tips or you're loading it or something, this could get, it's a little bit more vulnerable, so be careful with this. Some of the newer ones, they kind of tuck it in behind the disc brake over here. And the disc brakes are good, but 160 millimeters is okay, and mechanical is like okay. So given the weight and stuff, like I feel like I have to squeeze a little bit harder, and this doesn't stop as fast as some of the other bikes out there. But it also probably doesn't go as fast, so here we go. Hop on this thing. Start pedaling here in a moment when that car is gone. So I'm just barely pushing. It's a Cadence Sensor, so I'm letting it do some of the work to try to give you an idea of, you know, how powerful it is. Not super powerful, right? You know, like I said, it's maybe a 2 out of 5 on the assist levels that I see on other bikes. But it makes it feel a lot more like a normal bike that isn't super heavy, that isn't a fat bike. And you start to get some speed. You know, again, I'm not pushing. It's just gaining momentum here. And it's also pretty responsive. So I stopped, and it listened. That's that 8 magnet sensor. Some of the newer bikes have like 12, but a lot of older bikes have like just 5 or 6. So 8's a good in between. I think they made a good choice that way. Now I'm gonna hot rod it and do a throttle only test. And I love that it can get started from rest. Now this is an 18-inch frame. That's kind of the length of the seat tube right there. I like that the top tube is a little bit angled so that I can kind of stand over it and feel sort of comfortable. The battery box doesn't really get in the way too much. It's a decent design, you know, again, it works. And get ready for the throttle test here. There we go. kind of just cut out. I'd imagine we're going about 20 miles per hour, but no display, so it's kind of hard to tell. It sort of surges occasionally as the friction slows me down. Not bad, you know, I'm feeling pretty good. It's definitely more fun than pedaling. And the suspension fork, you know, it's helping a little bit. Maybe not a whole lot. I don't weigh a lot. I'm like 135 or something, so the suspension fork might be set up for a little bit more weight than what I am offering. But I think that's about it. I think that is a good overview of sort of the second generation Sondors Fat Bike, the one from Kickstarter. You know, I love that more people are being exposed to electric bikes, and that for under $1,000 you can get something fairly decent. For the full write-up on this and other fat bikes with maybe some more advanced options and stuff, some mid-drives or full suspension, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com. Ride safe.